In a sea of sameness, average prospecting will sink your business. Only the fanatics survive. They say sales is a numbers game, but here's the harsh reality. If you keep playing by the same old rules, you will drown in that sea of sameness. Think about it. Right now, your dream client are being bombarded by cookie-cutter sales emails and bland cold calls. As a CEO or entrepreneur, you probably get a taste of it yourself. How many generic pitches clutter your inbox each day? How many times has your phone buzzed with yet another scripted sales call? You know how it feels. You tuned out. You hit delete. You say, no, not interested, almost on reflex. Well, guess what? Your prospects are doing the same exact thing to you unless you change the game. No BS prospecting means no more fluff, no more mindless scripts, and no more playing by the mediocre rules. Today, I'm coming at you with a contrarian, thought-provoking approach to prospecting that will jolt you awake and hopefully give you the chills of excitement about what's possible. This is about being a fanatic in your own outreach or die trying. Because in today's market, average effort gets you zero results. Before we dive into these game-changing techniques, I wanted to share something special that I'm working on. An initiative that's very close to my heart. I'm on a mission to spotlight more CEOs and entrepreneurs who are serious about growing their personal brand and landing more podcast interviews and paid speaking gigs. To do this, I launched a Name Your Price interview campaign. And here's the no BS part. 100% of whatever you contribute is donated to help people facing hunger on the streets right now. If you or someone you know has a powerful story and real value to share, this is your moment. Send over your bio or one-pager, include your website and social media handles, and tell me why your story needs to be heard. My team and I are reviewing submissions, and if it's a strong fit, we'll bring you in for a powerful interview that amplifies your brand and helps make a real impact. Because 100% of proceeds go straight to feeding those facing hunger. It's a win-win with purpose. So don't wait. If this speaks to you or someone in your circle, pass it on and take action. Email it to info@carlosinspire.com with the subject line Sponsor Guest Podcast. And hey, don't spam me. If you are tempted to, go back and re-listen to this episode. Take notes. All right. Now back to today's topic. The sea of sameness. Why most prospecting fails. Picture this. Your prospect phone rings. They don't recognize the number, but maybe they answer. The moment you introduce yourself and your company, you can practically hear their eyes glazing over. Why? Because they heard this exact approach 100 times this week alone. In that instant, the brain say, salesperson alert, and switches to autopilot defense. It's a fight or flight. Either they will find a polite way to brush you off, or a not so polite way to eject from the conversation. Your prospect is conditioned by years of dealing with pushy cookie-cutter salesperson. It's like an involuntary reflex. Think about how you react when a salesperson randomly walks up to you, or when your phone buzzes with an unknown caller trying to offer you an exciting opportunity. Most of us instinctively say, no, thanks, I am good. Or, sorry, not interested, hang up, before we even heard the pitch. I will admit, I've done it myself. I was in a department store recently, looking for a gift for my wife. Our 20-year anniversary is coming up. A sales associate came over and asked, Need any help? What did I say? No, I am just looking. It was a knee-jerk reaction to avoid being sold. Funny thing is, a minute later, I actually did need help finding those diamond earrings, and I went back to ask. That's how our prospects are, my friends. Their first no often isn't real. It's a protective reflex. So if every prospect has this wall up and every salesperson is approaching with the same tired tactics, you see where this leads? A sea of sameness, where it's nearly impossible to tell you one rep apart from another. If you sound like everyone else, you vanish into the noise. The average CEO gets over 100 emails a day. A huge chunk of those are sales prospecting emails. Their voicemail is full of strangers just following up for the fourth time this week. Your mission, your only chance is to break the pattern. You must be a disruptor. You must create a pattern that interrupts, that pull them in. To win at prospecting, you must be an incredible disruptor. You need to shock the system in a good way. That means doing what others don't do, can't do, or won't even think of doing. When every other salesperson zigs, you zag. When they expect a pitch, you deliver something completely different. When they expect you to push, you pull instead. The secret to turn around a resistant prospect is to break their pattern. Do anything that sets you apart, while still being professional, of course. Here's the core technique. When the prospect throws an objection or brush off at you, don't resist it. Lean into it. Agree with them, or at least acknowledge their point in a way that surprises them, and then pivot to a next step. You want to interrupt their expectation that you are just another pushy salesperson who you argue and try to prove them wrong. Instead, you disarm them with unexpected agreement or humor, and then invite them forward. Let's get concrete with a few examples of common prospect objections and how a no BS prospector, a sales rebel, would respond. Prospect: I am happy with my current provider. Typical salesperson: oh, but our solutions is better because XYZ. Use the prospect's eye rolling at this moment. The no BS prospector: that's fantastic. Honestly, anytime you are getting great service and great value, you should stick with it. I would expect you to change if you are happy. Then you pause. The prospect is stunned. You are not fighting them. And then you go and say, tell you what, I still love to get to know you and your business a bit. Even if it doesn't make sense to work together right now, I can offer you a competitive quote just to keep your current guys honest. Worst case, you got some useful info for free. How about I swing by on Wednesday at 10:37 a.m. for a quick chat? Why does this work, my friends? First, you validated their current choice. You showed respect. Their guard drops because you are not attacking their decision. Second, you offer something of value, a competitive quote insight with no pressure attached. Finally, you pick up an oddly specific time, 10:37 a.m., which subconsciously signals that this meeting is important and precise, not a random, let's do lunch sometime throwaway. Unusual times also stick in their mind. You are not just another rep asking for 30 minutes. You are suggesting 10:37 a.m. on Wednesday. That's memorable and intriguing. Forget about 10:37 on Wednesday. What are you thinking about right now? 10:37. Why do you think we'll release an episode on this podcast every week? Monday mornings. What time? 5:07 a.m. Pacific time. Next example. Prospect. I'm really busy right now. It's a bad time. Typical salesperson. Oh, when would it be a good time to call back? They already lost it. The no BS prospector. Here's what we say when somebody says, I'm really busy right now. It's a bad time. Of course you are busy. I figure you would be. Say with a confident, appreciative tone. That's exactly why I called you today. I have a quick idea that could save you XYZ, and I promise it will take less than 5 minutes to share it. How about we lock in this Friday at 3:33 p.m. for a brief chat when things are a bit calmer? You see what we did there? We acknowledge their busy schedule instead of fighting it. In fact, we turn it around because they are busy and important. I'm calling with something worth of their time. The oddly specifically 3:33 p.m. Friday suggests you are precise and won't waste a second more than necessary. This response exudes confidence and respect. 9 times out of 10, the prospect's gut reaction was expecting you to stammer or retreat. Instead, you agreed and you still ask for their time, which flips the script. Next example. Prospect. Just send me some information. A classic polite dismissal. The typical salesperson says, sure, I will email you our brochure, and then chase you 10 times. The no BS prospector. Absolutely. I can send you info. So I send the right info. May I ask, what in particular are you most interested in or looking for? Rather than blindly firing off a generic PDF, which will get deleted or ignored anyway, think about how we do it, how we react. See, you respond with a question. This does two things. It calls their bluff, even if they were just trying to get rid of you, or it forces engagement. Often the prospect doesn't even know what they want to see. You caught them off guard, pattern interrupt. They might pause or actually consider or review a specific need. They might say, well, I'm curious about your pricing. Or, I wanted to know how your product compares to what we use now. Now you have a real conversation. You took a brush off and turned into an opportunity to understand them better. Let's go with another example. Prospect. I am not interested. The ultimate conversation ender, right? Typical salesperson. Oh, but you haven't even heard about how we can help. And the prospect is already tuning out. Think how you feel. The no BS prospector. Hey, you know what? That makes total sense. Most people aren't interested when I first call. In fact, a lot of my best clients said that the exact same thing to me at first. I honestly don't know if what I have will be a fit for you either. But here's what I do know. Once they saw the results, the demo, the numbers, a few of them told me that they were actually glad I kept following up. How about we do this? Let's grab 10 minutes on Zoom next Tuesday at 2:07 p.m. If you walk away truly not interested, I promise I won't bother you ever again. Fair? See the pattern? You agree with them. That makes sense. Most people aren't interested initially, which diffuses the tension. You are essentially saying, I am not here to fight you. Then you slip in a little social proof. A lot of my best clients say the same thing until they saw the value, which plots and plants curiosity. What did those clients see that changed their mind? And finally, you propose a very specific, very low risk next step, 10 minutes, oddly specific time, easy exit promise. You made it easier for them to say, well, all right, fine, 10 minutes on Tuesday. And if they still refuse, no fight, no begging. You stay gracious. No worries at all. Appreciate your time today. Have a great one. You leave the door open to maybe circle back in a few months. So, what is the psychology here in those few examples that we cover? When you respond in these unconventional ways, you are performing a classic pattern interrupt. The prospect's brain was bracing for a sales pitch duo, but you didn't duo. You disarmed it. It's like expecting a punch, but getting a handshake instead. They literally can't help but pay attention now because you are doing something different than 99% of salespeople. The brain's alarm signals quiet down, and now a real conversation can happen. They are pulled toward you, thinking, this person's actually listening to me and not just bulldozing. This is different. A few of important notes on technique. Never say, I understand, as a throwaway. A lot of reps, a lot of people think that they are showing empathy by saying, I understand how you feel. Anyway, about my product, blah, blah, blah. That's fake empathy. It's what every insincere salesperson says right before they streamroll the prospect's concern and instead show understanding through your actions by genuinely acknowledging the prospect's point and adjusting your approach. Like in the examples above, we don't say, I get it, you are busy. We actually demonstrate that we get it by keeping it brief and scheduling around their busyness. Remember, actions are greater than platitudes. Don't fight the prospect ever. In a battle with your customer, nobody wins. If you win by overpowering their objection, you actually lose because now they resent you or feel foolish. People hate feeling overcome or proven wrong. So skip the overcoming objections mindset. Embrace what I call the turnaround framework. Instead, agree, disrupt, invite. First agree, or at least validate their perspective. Then disrupt their expectation with a surprising response. And finally, invite them to a next step, meeting, demo, etc., while they are momentarily intrigued. It's like a gentle jiu-jitsu move, not a frontal attack. The results should feel like you are guiding them, not pushing them. Use humor and humanity. Don't be afraid to be a little playful or self-aware when appropriate. For example, if I hear, we are not interested, sometimes I will chuckle when I say with a smile. Even over the phone, you can hear the smile. Hey, I'd be surprised if you were interested, since you don't know me yet. Deliver in a warm tone that can make them laugh, or suddenly we are just two humans talking, not a seller versus a buyer standoff, like we are in the Coliseum. But if a prospect says we really don't have time to meet, you might reply in a light-hearted tone. I figured successful people rarely have free time, but they make time for things that can level up their business. I have something in mind for you that might do just that, and I promise I'll be brief. You see, by injecting a bit of personality, you become more than a faceless peddler. You become memorable. Leverage the word because. It's a subtle Jedi-level persuasion hack. Psychology shows that when you give someone a reason, any reason, they are far more likely to say yes. It sounds simple, but the science backs it. In one classic study, people were more willing to let someone cut in line for a copier simply because they heard the word because, even if the reason was as basic as because I am in a rush. Now think about that in your prospecting. Don't just say, oh, can we talk? Give them a reason that matters. Use because to create curiosity and value. Here's how I use it as a serial entrepreneur with several companies across personal branding, wealth strategy, and paid speaking. First example, could we schedule 15 minutes next week because I have a strategy that could boost your Q4 sales by 20%, and I love to get your perspective on it. Second example, could we lock in a quick chat because I wanted to show you how to grow your money tax-free, access it tax-free, and protect it from the next market crash, even when world leaders tweet things that tank the economy. That's what we do at disruptorscode.com. Great plug. Example number 3. Could we jump on a quick call because I got a strategy that's helping coaches and thought leaders land 5K, 10K, and even 20K speaking gigs potentially. And on top of that, license their frameworks for corporate trainings that turn into 6-figure paydays. I have a feeling you are leaving a lot of money and momentum on the table. And that's what we do at getonmorestages.com. Another great plug. What do you see here? The word because flips the switch in the brain. It signals logic, urgency, and intention. Prospects aren't just hearing a request. They are hearing why it's worth their time. Use it, own it, and plug it in the value you bring. All these links are under the show notes and in the descriptions. All right. We hit them with some contrarian tactics to break scripts and stand out. But tactics alone aren't enough. The other half of being fanatical in prospecting is pure grit and persistence. Let's talk about that. If that's one thing that separates top sales performers from the pack, it's persistence. Not blind, dumb persistence. Fanatical, focused persistence. The kind where you believe so much in the value you are offering that will keep knocking on that door, literally, until it opens. You probably heard the stats. 80% of sales require at least 5 follow-ups. But nearly half of salespeople give up after just one touch. Read that again. Or in this case, listen to that again. That means if you are simply follow up more than once, you're already ahead of 50% of your competition. And if you follow up 5 times or more, you are in the top 10% of persistence. That's fanatical. That's what it takes. Think about the opportunities lost because someone gave up too soon. How many deals might have been won if the salesperson made one more call, just sent one more email, or tried a different approach instead of assuming, they are not interested and I should stop bothering them. As entrepreneurs and leaders, we can't afford to leave those opportunities on the table. I always tell my team and myself, until you get a definite no, and please don't contact me again, you haven't got a real no. Until then, it's just not yet or not under these terms. Let me put in perspective with a quick story. You probably heard of Colonel Harlan Sanders, the founder of KFC. The man was rejected how many times? 1,009 times, as he tried to sell his fried chicken recipe to restaurants. 1,009 people say, no, get out of here. And he just kept going. If he quit after 10 or 100 or even 1,000 rejections, you never know his secret recipe. And I wouldn't be using this finger-licking example. Now, you might not need that level of craziness persistence in selling your product or service. But imagine adopting even a fraction of that determination. That is fanatical prospecting. It is the mindset of I will do whatever it takes for as long as it takes until I find a way to provide you value. Here's the key. Persistent doesn't mean obnoxious. It doesn't mean spam the same message 10 times. Just checking in, circling back, following up on my follow-up. Fanatical prospecting is a strategic persistence. It's keeping the prospect on your radar and you on theirs by mixing up and continue to deliver value or insights each time. One day you call, another day you send a helpful article or a case study that's relevant to their industry. Another time you drop a quick video you recorded just for them. You keep it fresh and you keep showing up professionally and respectfully. They might not answer up and your solution could help, but the one who didn't give up. Persistence also means timing and patience. Maybe your prospect truly isn't in a position to talk or consider a new vendor this quarter. Maybe their budget's frozen or they are in the middle of a big project. A no now isn't a no forever. I had prospects go completely dark on me for months after initial conversation. Instead of getting discouraged, I stayed politely present. A check-in email here, a congratulations on LinkedIn when I saw their company in the news, a happy holidays note at a year end. Nothing pushy, just reminding them I'm here. And you know what? Many times, when the timing became right for them, I was the one they remembered and reached out to. Hey, are you still available to discuss that thing you mentioned? We are ready to explore options. See, those are the emails that make you pump your fist in victory because you know it was your respectful tenacity that made it happen. So be relentless and consistent. Make prospecting a non-negotiable habit, the same way hitting the gym or brushing your teeth. If you are a business owner or CEO, lead by example here. Set the standard, even if you are not the one cold calling every day. Instill that fanatical persistence in your sales culture. Measure follow-ups. Celebrate the team members who doggedly pursue leads their smart way. A mediocre strategy carried out with persistence will outsell a brilliant strategy carried out lazily every single time. Luckily, what I am giving you here today is not mediocre strategy. Pair these contrarian tactics with insane consistency, and you will be unstoppable. The mindset of a no BS prospector: rejection is power. We covered what to do. Now let's talk about the mindset to actually do it, day in and day out. Because I won't lie to you, even with clever techniques and persistence, prospecting is still hard. You will still hear no. You'll hear a lot. You have days where every call goes to voicemail, every mail gets ignored. How do you keep going? How do you not only endure the rejection, but actually turn it into fuel? It starts how you interpret rejection. The average salesperson hears, I am not interested, and they feel defeated, even personally insulted. A no BS prospector hears the same words, but thinks, challenge accepted. The difference is meaning. I want you to give every rejection a new meaning in your mind. Instead of, I failed, or they don't like me, a rejection is just a signal. It's information. It's data you can use. Maybe it's a sign that the prospect needs more information. Maybe it's a sign you caught them on a bad day. Or it's a prompt for you to refine your approach. Any which way, it's not a final verdict on you or your product's worth. I'll be real with you about myself. I can walk into any boardroom or call any high-profile client without fear. I've been doing this for a long time, since I was 7 years old, selling breads in the streets, getting my butt beat. But I'm still human. Rejection still stings for a second. I feel that tightening in the chest when someone shuts me down. But I train myself to immediately reframe it. The moment I sense that, ouch, they say no, I remind myself, okay, on to the next one. That one wasn't ready yet. Or they say no to the offer, not no to me as a person. I literally tell myself these things so it doesn't stick. It's like a mental martial art. Let the punch roll off. Don't let it hit you in the soul. Here's another mindset shift. Detach from the outcome. This sounds paradoxical after I just hyped up persistence, but hear me out. You persist not because you are desperate for any one particular sale outcome, but because you are committed to the process of connecting with people who will benefit from your offer. If someone slams the door in your face, smile and move on. knowing there's someone right behind that door who needs to hear from you. Think of prospecting like planting seeds. Some won't sprout, that's fine. Others will take time, and a few will grow quickly. You keep planting. You don't dig up the seed in frustration if it doesn't bloom overnight. You keep watering it, give it sunlight, and trust that your efforts compound over time. Also, think about your prospect's mindset as much as your own. Empathy is a superpower in sales. Put yourself in their shoes constantly. Why did that person react harshly? Are they having a rough day? Did I catch them at a bad time? When you consider that, you won't take it personally. You might even find ways to adjust your approach. For example, if a prospect was short with you on the phone, maybe they were in the middle of something urgent. Next time, I might open the call acknowledging that. I know I probably caught you in the middle of a busy day earlier. And then you get to my point succinctly. Showing that awareness can soften them. One more pro tip: practice, 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 and get feedback. The same way an elite athlete trains for game day, you need to train for your prospecting conversations. That means role-playing those objection scenarios. Write out your turnaround lines for the common brush-offs and rehearse them until they roll off your tongue naturally. Record yourself and play it back. Yes, it's awkward, but you will catch filler words, nervous laughter, or tone issues you wouldn't notice otherwise. You see, if you have a team or a coach workshop together, say it. When the client says this, I'm planning to answer with that. How does it land? Fine-tune the wording. The goal is to create some rigid script you recite verbatim. You don't want to sound like a robot, but to embed the framework so deeply in the heat of the moment. You instinctively respond in that no BS, pattern interrupting way. It becomes subconscious competence. You won't have to think, you will just do it. I promise you. This kind of preparation is a huge confidence booster. When you already simulated a tough scenario 10 times in practice, the real thing feels almost familiar. You handle with calm and poise, and the prospect will feel that confidence. Remember, prospecting is as much a mental game as it's a numbers game. Master your mind, and you will master the grind. Here's the bottom line, my friends. Prospecting is the lifeblood of your business. It is the art of creating opportunity where none existed. And like any art or any battle, success goes to the bold, the prepared, and the relentless. In this sea of sameness we are all floating in, you have a choice. Blend in and drown, or stand up, stand out, and make waves. No more BS excuses. No more mediocre outreach that you know in your gut is getting tossed aside. It's time to be a fanatic about how you approach your prospects. Be fanatical in delivering real value and genuine human connection. Be fanatical in your creativity. Dare to be different in your opening lines, your meeting times, your emails. Be fanatical in your persistence. Follow up with passion and purpose, not pestering. And be fanatical in your belief that what you offer can truly help people. Because if you don't believe that, you shouldn't be selling it. Imagine the next prospect you call. Instead of their usual cold shoulder, they actually thank you for calling. Sounds crazy, right? But I had prospects literally say, you know, Carlos, I usually hate sales calls, but I am glad we talked. It only happens when you break through the stereotypes and approach them as a trusted advisor and fellow human, not a commission-driven robot. And that's exactly what I want for you. When you get that first deal that all your competitors gave up on, when you turn a no into a yes and into a long-term client, You will know this is what made the difference. So I challenge you, starting today, embrace the no BS prospecting mindset. The next time a prospect pushes your way, remember this talk. Take a breath and decide. I'm going to try the contrarian approach here. I'm going to imagine 6'5", 300-pound giant Brazilian Carlos Siqueira, a.k.a. Carlos Inspire, podcast show. And you're going to agree with them. You're going to disarm them. You're going to deliver that pattern interrupt that pulls them back. And if they still say no, you're going to smile. You're going to thank them. And you're going to move on to the next with your head high and your determination unshaken. Because you are not in this game for one easy sale. You are in it to build an empire, to create relationships, to make a difference for your customers and your company. That kind of mission demands a fanatic at the helm, not a timid, play-it-safe dabbler. You are the CEO of your life and business. Prospect like your life depends on it, because in a way, it does. The growth of your business, the livelihoods of your team, the goals you set for your family and your future, all of it hinges on your ability to keep generating new opportunities. It's that important. But now you have the mindset and the tools to do it differently than you ever have done before. No more fearing the phones or dreading the no's. You are going to relish the challenge, knowing that every no's gets you closer to a yes and that you have the skill to turn no's around when it counts. I want you to leave you with this powerful image. Picture yourself a year from now, having applied these no BS prospecting principles every day, bookmarking this podcast episode, sharing it. Your pipeline is overflowing with high-quality leads. Your close rate is higher than it's ever been before. You feel in control of your sales process because you no longer panic or add objections. Heck, you welcome them as chances to surprise and impress your prospects. Your business is thriving, maybe even doubling in revenue, because you decided to be that one brave soul in your industry who doesn't follow the crowd, who doesn't swim in the sea of sameness, but charts a new course. You became the fanatic who refuses to settle for average. How does that feel? Pretty damn exciting if you ask me. Now go out there and make it happen. Be the disruptor. Be the fanatic. Do what others won't. When your competition is sleeping or licking their wounds from rejection, you'll be making the extra call, crafting that clever email, thinking one step ahead. Your prospects won't know what hit them in the best possible way. And as your success grows, don't forget to share what you learned with others coming up in the game. There is nothing more fulfilling than helping another entrepreneur or salesperson break free from the chains of conventional wisdom and find their own greatness. If this episode lit a fire under you, please share it with a friend or colleague who needs to hear it. Don't keep the good stuff to yourself. We rise by lifting others. I appreciate you sticking with me through this passionate rant. I truly hope you got value from it. Now stop listening and start doing. The next phone call you make could change your business forever. But you never know unless you dial. No BS, all heart. Go close those deals and make no apology for being a fanatic. Thank you for listening. Now get out there and turn those no's into hell yes, because you know it. The days that breaks us are truly the days that makes us. Much love.